She.
The one that I got at the house. Yeah.
That's good.
That's okay. No, it's my problem. It's not yours. Thank you.
Does everyone have
Good Shabbos, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for wearing your masks inside of the sanctuary. Good Shabbos to everybody on live stream. This is our annual Shabbat/Hanukkah celebration. A little different this year, a little better than last year. Last year it was all Zoom. This year it's a little of this and a little of that, but we are having, those of you who brought them, lighting our Chanukiot, which is a very fancy word of saying your Hanukkah menorahs, and we are going to light them in just a moment after I have a little water. It's like I have a little dreidel. Let's have a little water. Okay, so $50,000 question. What do we light first? The Hanukkah menorah or the Shabbat candles? Who thinks Shabbat candles? Raise your hand. Who thinks Hanukkah menorah? Raise your hand. It's the Hanukkah menorah. And here's why. Here's why. There's a reason. Once you light a Shabbat candle and lit a fire, Shabbat begins and you're not allowed to do any work or light a fire, so you light the fire first for the Hanukkah menorah, then you light your Shabbat candles. So, does everybody have a song sheet? The Hanukkah blessings are there. We're going to do all three because every night you do two and then you do the Shehechianu if you haven't lit a menorah in a long time, or in our case, if you haven't lit your menorah here at Ohev Sholem in a long time. So it's been at least 2 years. So let's turn to our song sheets. I'm going to go to the fancy menorah over here. And my voice will carry, I'm sure. And if you brought your menorah and you want to walk over there, that would be terrific. Everybody have matches? You're good? All right, let's light the shamash. All right, and sing the blessing, please, with me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu, bayamim hahem, b'azman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, she'echianu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Happy Hanukkah. There they are. All right. We're going to be singing Hanukkah songs a little later. And while we're finishing up, let's turn to page 121. But before we light the candles, we need to take a cleansing breath. We'll get ready for Shabbat. Let's get rid of any of the aggravation of the past week. Wonderful. And we're on page 121. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat Kaddish is on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta Mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. Page 124. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. So we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. Let's turn to page 138 for L'Chadodi. L'Chadodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. 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 Shahamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shem u'tiferet ve'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kahala. Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi likrat kahala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. בואי ושלום העטרת בעלה, קם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי כלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Let's rise now, if you are able, and turn to page 146 for Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam vaed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, bamishmorotehem barakia kirtsono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, Umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tsebaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam vaed, Baruch ata Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. The Shema is on page 152. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. Let's continue with the Haftarah on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzabecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam Beshiftecha, bevetecha, uvlechtecha, vaderech, uvshochbecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yedecha, vahayu letotafot beinenecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, va'asitem ekol mitzvotai, Vitem kedoshim lelohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Yam bam 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 bibi bam ya ba 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 bim bam yam bam 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 bibi bam ya ba 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 bim bam ay 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 ya ba 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 bim bam ay 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 ya ba ba bam mi chamocha ba'lim Adonai mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh norat hiloto sefel norat hiloto sefel yam bam 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 bibi bam ya ba 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 bim bam yam bam 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 bibi bam ya ba 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 bim bam ay 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 ya ba 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 bim bam ay 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 ya ba ba bim bam. Let's continue together at the top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru, page 162. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beni uven bnei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash Shavat vayinafash, shahavat vayinafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Let's rise again if you're able and turn to page 164 for tefillah. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agite hilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיח ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Page 171. Days pass and years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. And we continue together at the top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. And now if you turn to page 176, if you look in the middle of the page, it says on Chanukah. Continue on page 556. You probably never noticed that, but that's why I went to rabbinical school. And let's turn to page 556, and we will have a surprise as soon as I find it. There is a special prayer for Hanukkah, and it's called the Hoda'ah. I'm going to read the first part, and then I'm going to ask you to continue along with me. We thank you for the miracles, for the redemption, for the mighty deeds and saving acts brought about by you, and for the wars which you waged for our ancestors in the days of old at this season. Together, in the days of the Hasmoneans, Mattathias ben Yochanan, the high priest, and his children, when the evil government of Greece rose up against your people Israel to make them forget your Torah and to make them leave the laws of your will. In your great mercy you rose up with them in their time of trouble and fought in their fight, judged their cause just. You delivered the mighty into the hands of the weak, the many into the hands of the few, the unclean into the hands of the pure, the evil into the hands of the righteous, and the arrogant into the hands of those who engage in your Torah. For you made a great and holy name in your world, and for your people Israel you brought about the great triumph and redemption on that very day. And when your children came to the Holy of Holies, and emptied your temple and purified your holy place and lit candles in your holy courts and established these 8 days of Hanukkah, grateful to acknowledge and to praise your great name. And we say, Amen. All right, let's turn to page 178, and we will continue with Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. B'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol er uvechol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. And now as we prepare for the silent prayer, if you did not get a Hanukkah song sheet, they're in the lobby. And if you did not get a dreidel, they are also in the lobby. You may want to pick one up while we have silent prayer. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom. Well, I thought I would talk about Hanukkah this Shabbat and the way the lights of our menorahs, our Chanukiot, can bring joy to each other and joy to a world that is still struggling with the pandemic. While Hanukkah is a minor holiday, its importance seems to grow every year. So if we really want to observe Hanukkah in the proper manner, we need to understand the essence of the holiday. Now, it's not easy to observe Hanukkah. Our Christian neighbors celebrate their holiday with the warm smells of cookies baking in the oven, while we suffer through a house that reeks of potatoes, onions, and burnt oil, and the smoke detector that goes off every 2 minutes. Yes. That's Conrad up there. Christopher has a gig down the street where he's playing piano and singing, and Conrad is very talented. He's not only the organist, but he is running the camera from the organ loft. You think it's hard being a rabbi. Okay, so on Christmas, our Christian neighbors hear the beautiful Christmas carols, and we are stuck with whatever Adam Sandler has decided to write that year. The only thing that keeps us happy is when we remember that most, if not all, of the popular Christmas songs were written by Jews, and that no one can sing Silent Night the way Barbra Streisand can. But seriously, Hanukkah is a wonderful time for celebration, and there are a lot of lessons we can learn from this beautiful holiday. The first lesson is to better understand the miracles found in the Hanukkah story. The first miracle is the miracle of the victorious Maccabees. Like their Israeli brethren almost 2,000 years later, the mighty Maccabees were a small group of committed Jews who were blessed with a great deal of nerve, chutzpah, as we call it, men, hopefully some women too, who had a small amount of weapons and armaments, and yet they miraculously defeated the Assyrians and King Antiochus in a battle that lasted only 8 days. How do you like that? No one would have believed that this small band of freedom fighters would be victorious over the Assyrian army. And when the battle was over, the temple in Jerusalem was restored and rededicated. And the word for dedication in Hebrew is Hanukkah. Hanukkah means to rededicate. Now, the second miracle is the miracle of the oil. When the Maccabees were able to finally enter the temple after their victorious battle, they only found enough oil to burn in the menorah, which actually looked a lot like these, only had 2 more branches. They found that the oil that was supposed to last for 1 day lasted for 8, and that was a miracle. These miracles teach us that we need to have faith even when faced with the impossible. They also teach us that no matter the size of the army, the weak can indeed defeat the strong, and the little ones in our midst can topple the giants if they only believe in their cause. And that's why Hanukkah is a holiday that honors our children. We teach the next generation what it means to be a Jew and what it means to take care of the temple and our community as a whole. So Hanukkah is a very special time indeed. So we are going to sing a couple of Hanukkah songs to better enjoy the holiday. Now, there are not a lot of us, but we have great voices, and we have Rabbi Kessler's handy-dandy Hanukkah song sheet. It's been around for generations. And we've already done the blessings, but let's do O Hanukkah, which is on the back of the song sheet, and here are the words so you can sing along with Conrad and me. Are you ready? Okay, all right. Oh Chanukah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Svivonim to play with, levivo to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. And let's turn to the front of our song sheet and let's sing I Have a Little Dreidel. I think everybody got a dreidel. If you didn't, there's a glass container filled with dreidels. And every year somebody asks me, what do the letters mean and how do you play dreidel? And there's a wonderful word called Google. Google it. You can find out whatever you want. You can watch a video of people playing dreidel. Who needs the rabbi? Okay, let's get ready for I Have a Little Dreidel. Are you ready? Okay. I have a little dreidel. I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, then dreidel I shall play. Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Oh, dreidel, 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 now dreidel I shall play. It has a lovely body with legs so short and thin, and when it gets all tired, it drops and then I win. Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, then dreidel I shall play. My dreidel's always playful, it loves to dance and spin. A happy game of dreidel, come play now, let's begin. Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Oh, dreidel, 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 now dreidel I shall play. Very nice. Take this home with you, and you can sing Hanukkah songs. We have, 2 more nights? So you can sing your songs as you light your menorah. A few announcements. Tomorrow morning is Tat Shabbat at 10:30 for anyone birth through 2nd grade. And as I have been doing for many, many years, I will tell the story of my favorite Hanukkah story called The Hanukkah Guest. If you don't remember it, it's really hilarious. So they'll be singing and dancing without holding each other, and the Hanukkah Guest. So that's tomorrow morning, 10:30 in the Lehrman Chapel. Please make sure you bring your mask. There is no religious school on Sunday. The Harrisburg Jewish community is having a Hanukkah extravaganza from 10 in the morning till 11:30 at the JCC. To register, go to jewishharrisburg.org or look at the email that I sent out yesterday. You can just click on the link and register and show up. That'll be a lot of fun. But we are still having PEP because there are not that many Sundays in December, and I didn't want to skip PEP. So PEP is on Zoom at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. Sisterhood is having an event. Raina, were there flyers out there? Really? We made copies of it. Sisterhood is having an event on December 30th with the noted author who wrote the 28th. It's close. Right, on Zoom, the author who wrote that wonderful book about strong Jewish women that was written in honor of Justice Ginsburg, Goldberg, you know. It's a very funny joke, but I'm not going to say it from the bima because I like being a rabbi here and I don't want to be a rabbi in Idaho. Anyway, look on the temple website. You'll learn all about that. Sisterhood is also having their winter social. Information about that is on the website as well. Now, Bob Wolf is here, and Bob Wolf has been a member for a long time, and he is the president of Jewish Family Service. And there's something that JFS is doing that we're really excited about. So I'm going to put my mask on and go sit in the cantor's chair, and you can take your mask off and speak to the congregation.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. It is so wonderful on this Festival of Lights to be surrounded by the various Chanukia, and we can bask in their lights. It's just a great time to be here. At least we get to share some of the holiday joy and spirit together. As Rabbi Kessler said, I am the president of the board of Jewish Family Services of Greater Harrisburg. We just call it JFS because that's a mouthful. JFS is a non-denominational charity, but it is informed by Jewish values. One Jewish value is mentioned in the Torah, particularly in Genesis, in the story of Abraham, who greets and welcomes 3 strangers into his household and tent, who happen to be angels, messengers from God, who bring the message of Sarah's pregnancy and the ultimate birth of Isaac. The commandment is that you should welcome strangers into your home because we were once strangers in the land of Egypt. That whole sentence creates a feeling of empathy, that we share the experience of strangers, and therefore we can feel the needs that they experience being in that situation. And that is one of the values that informs the mission of Jewish Family Service. I'm here to tell you about a project that we have undertaken. We have been designated as the official resettlement refugee agency here in the Greater Harrisburg area. We have a history of participating in refugee crises over the years, going back, at least as I recall, to the Russian refugees who were released from the Soviet Union during the times of Glasnost, and perhaps even as far back as the boat people from Vietnam, most recently the Syrian refugees. We have now undertaken the task of helping to settle Afghan refugees who have fled their country at the end of the 20-year war that we were involved in and the fall of the government there. And we are going to receive a group of 30 refugees beginning in January. And ultimately, the State Department, who designated us, is hoping that we can settle as many as 250 in the Harrisburg area. I'm here today to say we can use your help. Fortunately, we have a fair amount of funding, both from the federal government and several private foundations, but we need volunteers to help in the process of resettlement. So if you have time and the ability to help us, we would love to have you join us as volunteers. We can use volunteers in a whole host of ways. Getting people acclimated to the Harrisburg area and the United States, providing driving service, taking people to the grocery store, helping them with shopping, helping them getting acclimated. We are also desperately in need of housing, so if you are at all familiar or aware of any housing opportunities in the area, we would love to hear about them. One of the problems is that these refugees come with, no credit history, no, job employment history here in the United States. So we are looking for landlords and people who can rent anywhere from 5-bedroom houses for our larger families to 1-bedroom apartments for the smaller ones. The first of the refugees are planning to arrive sometime, I think, between January 1st and 3rd, and then we'll sort of get them in a steady stream. But if you can volunteer, we would love to hear from you. You can either contact me, I'm in the directory. You can email me at chocolate.wolf@comcast.net. You can contact JFS, our number's in the book, we're on the website. Even if you don't have an opportunity or the availability time-wise or otherwise to volunteer, if you could spread the word amongst your friends that we are undertaking this mission and that we can use their help. We've already reached out to other organizations like Muslim organizations and Catholic Charities and and made some great connections. But the more help that we can get, the easier it will be to resettle these people and the greater service that we can do to the community and to them and to God. So thank you all for this public service announcement, and I will return the bema back to Rabbi Kessler.
Thank you. Don't forget your mask. This is really wonderful. If you don't have room in your house, we understand. If you do have room in your house, that would be great. But anything you can do to be helpful, we would really, truly appreciate. Let's take a moment now to ask God's blessings on those in our community and our families who are sick and in need of healing. Let's prepare for the Mishaberach by turning to page 371. We especially remember this evening Nathan Snyder, Jan Gibbous, Anne-Marie Garwood, Ivy Knaub, and anyone you may wish to name at this time. And let's say together, Baruch Atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, Adonai, our God, who heals the sick. And we say, Amen. Mishaberach, page 371. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Let's turn now in our prayer books to page 586 and rise if you are able for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלוכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We remain standing as we prepare for the mourner's Kaddish. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This Shabbat, we remember the yardsides of Louis Adler, Albert Bryant, Harry Chernikoff, Ilse Feldheim, J. Helen Goldberg, John Goldsmith, Rosa M. Goldsmith, Joseph Goldstein, Etta J. Goodman, Bill Gross, Ida Gross, Jim Halbert, Abraham A. Jaffe, Margaret W. Cohn, Barry Krause, Charles Lobheim, Deanna Maglin, Edward Maglin, Milton Ring, Roselle Roth, Frank L. Rubin, Rada Rubin Sachs, Shirley S. Schneiderman, Abe Yaman, Sally Aronson Yaffe. For those that have been named, or for those you may name within your own hearts, we recite the Mourner's Kaddish together on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yomad divrach cheruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'galo v'zman kariv v'yimaru amen, yehesh shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei kudsha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'alma v'yimaru amen, yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen, oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all of us who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved, and we say, Amen. Our closing hymn is Light One Candle. It is on the back of your song sheets, and since there is no religious school this week, you do not have to bring your prayer books to the back. You can put them back in the pews. They will be nice and safe for the end of the service. And let's join together in Light One Candle. Light one candle for the Maccabee children. Give thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in. Let anger not tear us apart. Light one candle to bind together, with peace as the song in our heart. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly that we keep alive in that flame? What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice shall somehow prevail. This is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. And now, if you are near someone who is safe to hold the hand or the arm of them, that means hold your sister's hand. I'm watching. Rabbi sees everything up here. Fine, be that way. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our mothers and fathers, grant us a Shabbat filled with joy, with rest, and with peace. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Please make sure to blow out your Chanukiot and make sure they're not too hot to handle. And be very careful as you carry them out, because fire is a 4-letter word at Ohev Sholom. Okay, Shabbat shalom.